Hi there. This morning I'm going to do the Muckers Sunday ride. So I'm not sure if it's a race or not, but it looks quite a hilly profile. I think it's 30 mile, 2,800 foot, so quite a hilly one. There's about 30 people doing it. So I was meant to be doing the 3 up team time trial up in Morpeth this morning, but it was called off due to the weather, which is rain and wind and persistent rain, which it's been like for most of the last 6 or 7 months really, so no change there. So that was cancelled, so I'm going to jump on here and give it a go. It looks like there's quite a few hills towards the end, so hopefully should be a decent ride and see how it goes. Okay, so I'm just clipping in to do a couple of minutes warm up on the bike here. Normally don't do anything too intense for a warm up. I'm normally just, whenever I get on, turn the pedals for a little bit and off we go really. So the race is on the countdown now. As you can see, I think there's about 32 starters, so a few there. You can see the profile which Rouvy does, which is along the bottom of the screen. And one of the new updates of Rouvy, which was the drafting change, did make it a bit more like Zwift, where drafting is very important. If you're not drafting, you're losing a lot of energy, just as you would out on the real roads. So on here, I decided, looking at the profile, that it's probably best to try and ride with a group until the foot of the first kicker, which kicks in around about mile 12. So the plan is just to use as little energy as possible, and then have a go on that first kicker, which is the plan, which is coming up here. Still picks up at a half decent pace. I'm still pushing some decent watts in the group. So it's certainly getting a bit warm. The foot of the climb is going to kick in soon. And there's still a group of, I think there was 5 or 6 of us at this point. The guy which who finished second, I did end up winning the race, was pushing it at this point. I think he did have a couple of attempts to break away, but I mean the profile was too flat. But it starts to get a little bit tasty here, just on the little kick up to the first hill really. It's about a 4-minute hill. You'll have to bear with us because this is my first time getting used to sort of recording and doing the voiceover. Now I'm away there now, and I'm pushing. I get about 6.5 watts per kilo, and I try and maintain about 6, no less than 5.5 up until 6, until I get a decent gap, or hoping I'm getting a decent gap. Just to put it into context, Pogacar pushing up yesterday on stage 15 of Tour de France, I think he pushed nearly 7 watts per kilo for about 28 minutes, which is absolutely insane. 6 watts per kilo for a couple of minutes is quite a good. Well, I'll take that basically, but I think I'm pushing about 5.5, 6 watts here. I do open a bit of a gap. I do, due to editing, etc. I don't get to finish the race, so I will end the footage just as I'm about halfway up this climb. But I do manage to get a decent gap on the 2 riders behind us. How the race finished basically is I got a big gap by the top of this climb. I managed to maintain that, but did pull back on the descent. And as it happened, the way it worked out on the last climb, second place did get level with us. But I managed to ride in his wheel, and then 2 miles to go, I had another kick in and managed to take the win by about 30 seconds. But this was a tough effort up the climb here. As you can see, I'm pushing. And I'm pushing pretty decent watts there. Bear in mind, I'm probably a little bit underweight going into this. I think I was probably about 63.5 kilos. So I'm feeling a little bit sort of jaded here. I could do with some fuel and a bit of food. But I do manage to get a decent effort up the climb and open up a gap. That gap's opened up quite quickly. I think there was the 2 lads behind us working. But like I say, I do manage to maintain it, and thankfully I did manage to sort of have enough left in the tank when the second place did catch us on the last climb to ride with them, and then about 2.5 miles ago managed to ride off and take the win. So it wasn't bad for the Sunday's Muckers Race.